I'll do it.
We'll see whoever he calls.
Whoever the mayor.
Council meeting for today, November 9th. Have a roll call, Ms. Adams.
Mayor Clea McCaw,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Carolyn Humphrey, Councilmember William Benning,
Present.
Councilmember Gregory Johnson,
Present.
Councilmember Angelica Landry,
Present.
Councilmember Marta Messmer,
Present.
Councilmember Mark Rodriguez.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We'll have our invocation by Reverend Donna Smith of the Graceful Passages for Vets. After she completes, we'll have a pledge of allegiance by Councilman Rodriguez. Please stand.
Please join me in prayer. As we know and join in consciousness, knowing that there is one source, one mind, one spirit, one heart. And I know that spirit is guiding this city council, blessing the mayor and each city council member. Everything that is being brought to the forum, everything that's brought to the floor is brought out of compassion and passion. And everything in this meeting unfolds in the most perfect way because Spirit is blessing every discussion, every member, every person in this building, every person in this room. I simply say thank you, God, for the City Council and the Mayor. Thank you for this wonderful time to be together and know that everything is helping our city grow and thrive and prosper. I simply say thank you, God, and allow it to be. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
And we go to item number 1, Councilwoman Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the agenda for the regular city council meeting of November 9th, 2023 be approved.
Second.
It's probably moved in second. Are there any questions, comments? Ready for the question? All those in favor? Opposed? It is passed. We have a city manager report. Ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor McCaw and members of council. All city offices will be closed tomorrow, November 10th, in observation of Veterans Day. And your second set of meetings in November will be canceled in honor of Thanksgiving. That's the work session on November 21st and the council meeting on Thanksgiving Day, November 23rd. And of course, city offices will also be closed in observation of Thanksgiving Day on the 23rd and also on November 24th. Thanksgiving trash pickups that week. For those of you who have Monday and Thursday schedules, the pickup will switch to Monday, Wednesday. Those with Tuesday and Friday schedules will have no change in their pickups, and of course, no special pickups on that week. Which makes your next city council meetings in December on December 12th for your work session at 3 p.m. here in council chambers, followed by your regular city council meeting on December 14th at 5 p.m., also here in your council chambers. Just one item to share with you tonight that is out to bid. The request for proposal for a feasibility study for a potential space reentry port at the Sierra Vista Municipal Airport was issued on November 6th, and that will close on Monday, December 4th. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any questions, comments? City manager's report. Thank you, ma'am. Once again, we go to item number 2, Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of October 24th, 2023 work session, October 26th, 2023 regular city council meeting, pre-annexation agreement resolutions 2023-082, parcel number 106-71-181A, 2023-083, parcel number 106-70-111, 2023-084, parcel number 106-71159, and 2023-085, parcel 106-70-132, and lastly, resolution 2023-086, acceptance of the resignation of Patrick Murphy with regret, and the appointment of Joel Buffa to the Sierra Vista Environmental Stewardship Committee, said term to expire April 30th, 2025, be approved.
Second.
Been probably moved and second.
He has some oxygen.
Good one. Did well.
Bring some water.
Are there any questions, comments? Ready for the question? All those in favor? Opposed? It is passed. Go to our public hearing item. Item number 3, Councilwoman Messmer.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I move that the ordinance 2023-010, a request for a zoning map amendment designation and recreational vehicle park overlay district 405 South Garden Avenue, Grove Manufacturing Home Park be approved.
Second.
Been probably moved and second. Staff report, Mr. Matt McLaughlin.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. As was just mentioned, this is a request to amend the city's zoning map to designate the property as recreational vehicle park overlay district. The property is now referred to as Garden Grove. You may remember it as Garden Canyon Mobile Home Park. The site is comprised of 2 tax parcels encompassing 14 acres of property. The Garden Canyon Terrace subdivision lies to the south, Sterling Point Apartments and the Edge Townhomes to the east, a mix of commercial uses to the north, and Fort Huachuca to the west. The property was acquired by GL Garden Canyon LLC in August of 2020. As most of you recall, under the prior ownership, the site sat virtually idle for many years. The pre-HUD mobile homes, which were substandard, were boarded up to prevent vandalism. There were several arson fires that went unsolved over the years. Over the last couple years since the acquisition, the old units have been cleared out. The new landscaping has been installed. Electrical upgrades have been made and are continuing to be made. And this is what the property looks like today. Here's a view from South Garden Avenue. There's the spaces along the north property line are currently being leased for recreational vehicles. The city's future land use plan designates the property for high-density residential development. The zoning currently reflects its historical use, manufactured home residence. And the site currently has 231 spaces. And under the MHR zoning, up to 30% of the spaces can be leased for recreational vehicle use, which equates to 69 of the spaces. So the applicant is currently seeking the RV park overlay district to increase the number of spaces that can be devoted for RV use above the 30% threshold. The factors that should be weighed to evaluate this request are the need and justification for the change, making sure that the rezoning is consistent with the goals and objectives of the city's general plan, and whether the general public benefits and does not constitute a special privilege to an individual. With respect to site suitability, the need and justification for the rezoning is to facilitate the redevelopment, revitalization, and repositioning of a once largely abandoned mobile home park that has been a source of blight and criminal nuisance activity for many years. Manufactured homes have gotten larger since the park was originally developed. Existing sites are not designed for modern homes without them being combined. Recreational vehicles will use the same hookups and utilities as manufactured homes using a smaller footprint, making them a more economically viable use. The RV spaces will fit vehicles up to 55 feet in length. They have concrete pads in place, electrical service, water and sewer hookup, and Wi-Fi. The property is on the west end, close to restaurants, retail, and services, and the main gate to Fort Huachuca. Property is relatively flat and outside the 100-year flood zone. In terms of access, there are 4 driveways that connect with South Garden Avenue, which functions as a frontage road to Buffalo Soldier Trail, which is designated as a principal arterial on our traffic circulation plan. There are also 2 driveways to the east that connect with South Carmichael Avenue, a collector street. We did look at the estimated daily trips, comparing manufactured home parks to recreational vehicle parks. According to the International Transportation Engineers Manual, and it's about 10% projected vehicle trips for a RV park or campground as in comparison to a manufactured home park. So the estimated traffic will be substantially less as an RV park relative to retaining its historical use as a manufactured home park. As you may be aware, the city received Federal Transit Administration funds to improve accessibility to our transit stops. We're in the procurement stage of bidding out sidewalk connections serving not only along Carmichael, adjoining Garden Grove, but the Solgra neighborhood. There are neighborhood parks in the vicinity that will benefit the nearby residents, and the sidewalks will provide, safe access to those parks, as well as the transit stops in the vicinity. With respect to consistency with the general plan, we find the application to be consistent with Goal 1.1, which is to increase citizen participation in the governmental decision-making process. Designing sites to provide access and connections to alternative transportation routes, such as multi-use path sidewalks and bus routes. Continuing the city's commitment to revitalize and redevelop the West End, and making Sierra Vista the hub of tourist activities in southeastern Arizona. In terms of development considerations, the RV overlay district does require 1 washer and dryer per 25 spaces, at least 1 men's and women's shower stall per 50 spaces, and at least 25% of the RV spaces above 30% of the overall spaces within the park must be provided with a storage unit no less than 180 cubic feet in size. The applicant has provided us with a preliminary site plan. They're in the process of preparing the associated building permit applications to construct a new clubhouse, bathhouses, and amenity area. The pool will be the second phase, although the applicant is anticipating this will be a continuous phase, but they'll be starting with the the building improvements, followed by the pool. Here are some conceptual renderings of what that could look like. You can see, the clubhouse. There's a dog park that'll be across the RV check-in area. A little bit of green space and landscaped area around the pool. And here's another perspective of what that can look like. You see playground equipment, an arbor trellis, possible recreational features. In terms of outreach, we notified property owners within 500 feet of the site. We did receive 1 comment from a resident on Witt Drive concerned about the increase in people and the possibility of recreational vehicles such as dirt and ATVs disturbing the quality of life in the neighborhood. And an email came in this afternoon from the owner of the Stanley Apartments, just questioning, did the city factor in the weight of the recreation vehicles in terms of the streets' ability to support those, and we're confident that there will be no issues in that regard. The applicant did hold a virtual meeting on August 23rd. No members of the public attended. On October 30th, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing. Again, no members of the public attended. The P&Z unanimously voted to recommend approval of this application. Mike Rothschild, CEO of Good Living Ventures, is here, along with his colleague, Juan Carlos Ramirez, who serves as their architectural project manager. And I'm sure they could elaborate on their proposed improvement plans, what they're seeing in terms of leasing activity, how the property will be marketed, and what's underway, as well as any other questions you may have.
Thank you, sir. Questions for Mr. Matt? So we do have one public comment on this item. We can do that one right now, Ms. Jill?
Yes, sir.
All right. And we have Ms. Jan Ruth Mills. And then we would like, after Ms. Jan Ruth Mills concludes, we'd like Mr. Mike Rothschild, if he would be, yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Jan Ruth Mills. I am the Witt Drive resident. I'm not sure that people in my community know as much as has been presented about this. For instance, I am the person who, I contacted I couldn't come to the August 23rd meeting. I'm just wondering if this can't be postponed because, when I there was some communication problems. I emailed, the city. For some reason, I didn't get notification of what was going on. I'm glad that was straightened out, and somebody called me and told me about this meeting. But, walking my dog, talking to people in the last 2 days, I'm not sure that people understand what this change is going to be. And I am concerned about the increased traffic. I'm also concerned, we have a little park in our neighborhood, and it is well used. But to bring that many people in, sort of concerns me. Somebody said that there would be actually less people in this than there would be in a traditional manufactured home park because fewer people would be in a camper or a trailer or whatever. But I'm just, it's a lot. It seems to me to be a lot. It seems to me to be a big change, and these people won't be dedicated to the community as people who live in a manufactured home park might be. These are people who are going to come and go, and I understand that. That I'm not sure that I want my neighborhood to be the hub of tourism. It is improved a great deal since we moved there in 2012, and so I guess my questions are. Can't more of this, can some of the space, more of the space, that you're proposing to bring people in and out of be dedicated to green space? We were shown a little bit of green space, maybe more green space and fewer sites on that area, I guess my concerns are increased public participation, because I know just in the last 2 days talking to people about it, more people are concerned about this than the one person that is here today. I could say this all again, but twice, I think 3 times is enough. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Jan Mills. Sir, Mr. Rothschild?
Well, thank you for having us, Mayor and Council. We're a value-add company that came in here. We used to own Sierra Grande and Mountain Vista, and with Garden Grove, and our biggest thing was cleaning up all the old trailers and revitalizing it. And our good friends at Saddleback run Sierra Grande and Mountain Vista, and I'm sure the police chief and fire chief knows what it used to be like in these communities. And it was rough. It was a lot of money cleaning that whole place up. Right now, we do have, the people are coming in here. It's like 51% of them are vacation, and then the workforce, there's 28%. Of workforce, which is construction, nurses, Army, and first responders. First responders, we give 10% discounts. I'm a retired command sergeant major from U.S. Army Special Forces, 32 years. And Command Sergeant Major Kulig from Fort Huachuca is a friend of mine. So we're working with him. His fiance's mother-in-law was actually staying in one of our homes. So we're working on plans for housing guys, when they come for their short-term schools at Fort Huachuca for the Intel course. And we also have seasonal people, that's 17%. And then we had returning guests so far at 3%. And now we're starting to get bird watching people in the community. We also, with his wife, we are working with Cochise College to look for some student housing too. So we're just not taking a place and putting MH back in there and doing the same old thing. We're kind of considering it's like a resort. I mean, just in phase 2, we're going to spend $250,000 upgrading the power. And that's just this, 66 lots. It could be another $500,000 for the rest of the lots. Then the clubhouse is $1.2 million we're going to be spending. We hire all local people. I mean, Wilson Electric is our electrician guy, and they're based out here. It's great. Working with Matt, everything's been great. But we're here to improve it and make it a great resort, not a shade and shelter community where you see a lot of the RV parks, in the area are shade and shelter. But we're redoing the infrastructure. We're putting money into it, and we're here until it gets finished.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's your lot rates? Hourly? I mean,
Right now,
daily, weekly?
no. Right now it's it changes. There's a monthly rate, and then there's
But not the actual rate.
Oh.
You rent daily, weekly?
Yeah, we rent the
yearly?
daily, weekly, and up to 6 months.
Up to 6
Right
months,
now,
okay.
our current normal average is 28 days,
Yeah.
but it could go up to 90.
And if you look at it right now, we're pretty much for competitive with Quail Run and everything like that. But as the infrastructure goes in there, the owner, Michael Horton, is totally into green spaces in there, and any extra space will be landscaped and trees, and he loves that. The rent will go up a lot higher. Once you have a clubhouse with a pool and a gym and all that stuff, it's gonna be a resort. So the clientele that's gonna be coming here, it'll be good clientele. Plus, we'll always have discounts for workers and first responders and military.
Time frame for the build out?
Well, we do. It took a while with SSVC, but we did get approved for phase 2 for 66 lots, and we have a permit in. We should be getting that in the next couple of weeks, and it'll probably, just for phase 2, will be probably like 3-4 months. And that's 66 lots. And then it's just tough for bidding on the clubhouse, and we're resubmitting some permits on the clubhouse. And then it's just hard to get bids to build a $1.2 million place. We work with Workman, and they're bidding on it. So, and KSE, another company here, that's going to be bidding on it.
Questions, comments?
I'm glad I was going to ask, but you kind of brought it up. 1.2 million it's considered a small job now, I guess, for people. Depends on where you're at, right? But
we're choking.
Yeah. but the contractor side, that's kind of what you kind of covered it already. There's been obviously it's a shortage everywhere of what products people will pick up based off the price, based off if it's worth it for them, I guess, in their eyes. But I also want to know the timeline is good. But it does sound like you are. I mean, obviously, from what I've seen, what you see now is night and day what it used to be. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciate that because it really makes our community look better. And I'm looking, if it's anything like the artist rendition, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. I've walked around a little bit already. So, I mean, it looks nice. I didn't see a lot of people just hanging out. Talked to some people that were there. They seemed very happy to be there. They're enjoying the free laundry, like I said, on Tuesday for now. I know that's only for now because I told them, free laundry only lasts so long.
We'll get that for a while.
Yeah.
But there, we put vegetation, and trees in front of, almost every site. And then, like the picnic area where that eagle lives, that'll be all landscaped. And any areas we don't do will be landscaped.
Yeah, additionally, we're going to be, for each of our sites, we're going to be landscaping to separate them. So it's going to be landscaped all the way across. We're going to have the landscape, obviously, all throughout the clubhouse. And across the street where we have the dog park, Overall, aesthetically, we're wanting to be a high-end RV park, so we wanted to have that great modern aesthetic, as well as with all of the RVs that we have in there, we have regulations so that we can make sure that we have the, limited to the, not necessarily higher end, but something that's not too old, something that's not
Right.
breaking down, something that we know that in case something happens, we'll be able to get out, But overall, going back to the landscaping, we're wanting to make sure, like he said, Michael Horton loves the greenery, so there's gonna be a green park overall.
And especially with the older RVs, you see a lot of them, especially with the hot weather, they're adding, Home Depot ones, and they're plugging them into their 15 amps, and they're starting fires. So, those are one of the rules we don't allow. And I'm sure for the fire department, you probably see that all the time. People overloading their 30 amp older RVs and modifying them.
Thank you. That was my last comment. You actually got it. I was going to ask what your let the right limits were for vehicles. So good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes. Has there been any planning with respect to security on the site? Because once it becomes quite populated, there could be concerns.
We don't have any plans as of yet on security.
Okay.
There were ideas of eventually, looking at gated community, doing walls in the front and the back, and entry monuments, and that's still, in the thought process.
Okay.
Is that my tinnitus or is that real?
Yeah.
No, that's something.
Side note to that, at other parks, we've worked with the police department before, so that they can do rounds over during the night, or if we can help them in any way by providing parking spaces while they're doing runs or whatever, we could probably, or also would like to.
Yeah, and we've done parking spaces and access to the building so they could use the restrooms or the coffee, at all times of night.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more, just not for you guys, but just for the community as a whole. I mean, if you feel like there's ever any vehicles that shouldn't be there on the streets that aren't allowed on that kind of road, right, it's something you can bring up as a concern, and we can work with our police department, like we do already with certain neighborhoods, certain streets, and they'll do an operation out there and set up and say, for whatever timeline, if you know the date and time, that helps a lot for anybody out there. Like, hey, there's always vehicles that shouldn't be on our streets that are off-road vehicles. Let us know the date and time. We can run it by our PD, and when those guys have time amongst all the other things they're doing, maybe do an operation there and kind of educate the community on what vehicles can and can't be on those roads.
And once we're set up, we do security cameras throughout the park, and we have it kind of recorded in the main office.
Perfect. That's a good question.
Thank you.
You had.
No, I'm good.
Okay, you're good. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So, thank you for your comments. Thank you, Ms. Mills, for your comments. Everybody ready for the question? All those in favor? Opposed? We'll go to our next item, item number 4.
Mind to take it there? I'll take it.
You'll take it? Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Mayor, I move that Resolution 2023-087, an amendment to the development agreement with Ty-Court Title Agency of Arizona, Inc., related to the Buffalo Soldier Ranch subdivision be approved.
Second.
Been probably moved and second. Staff report, Mr. Pregler. Afternoon, sir.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, give me 1 second to pull up the presentation. Let's see here. Okay, I guess that's good enough. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, again, and members of the council. If it's okay with you, I'd like to make one presentation for all 3 items, although you will be considering each item separately. So Buffalo Soldier Ranch, final plat, is located
Now I'm completely away.
Okay. A little technical difficulties here. All right, thank you. Sorry about that. So the Buffalo Soldier Ranch subdivision is located just east of the Holiday Retreat subdivision. It's off of Golden Acres Drive, east of Highway 92. You can see the Golden Acres subdivision to the, I guess, southeast of the property. Before I get into the specifics of the development agreement and the phasing plan and the final plat, I want to talk a little bit about the history of this project. So the preliminary plat for this project was submitted back in 2005, and then subsequent to that, the preliminary plat and the development agreement were approved on May 25th of 2006. The final plat, just a year later, was submitted in March 2007, and then later in 2010. The developer requested a postponement of the review at that time due to the slow market conditions, and so the property has remained vacant ever since. However, the owner did obtain a letter of water adequacy from the Arizona Department of Water Resources on June 6, 2011. I do want to make a follow-up on this particular point. A question was raised at the work session regarding if there was an expiration date on the letter of water adequacy. Staff actually contacted the Arizona Department of Water Resources yesterday and asked that very question. And they did indicate that there was no expiration date on the letter of water adequacy and that the letter is still valid, provided that the developer has not made any substantial changes as defined by the Arizona Administrative Code, and the applicant and the developer has not. The final plat is consistent with the preliminary plat. So the letter is still consistent and still valid today. So the developer, current developer, Canyon Vista Land LLC, has submitted the updated final plat and public improvement plans for completion of the project. The improvement plans have been conditionally approved by Public Works. So approval of the plat by City Council today will allow development of the subdivision. So developer is requesting three separate items. He's requesting the City Council consider an amendment to the development agreement as some conditions are no longer applicable, a consideration of a phasing plan, which will be an amendment to the preliminary plat, as the preliminary plat and final plat have to be consistent with each other, and then consideration and approval of the final plat. So let me give you some specifics on the plat itself. The land use designation for the subdivision is medium density residential. The zoning on the current property is single family residence 8, which means that the lots have to be a minimum of 8,000 square feet. The developer is proposing to construct single family detached homes on the property. The lot sizes will range from 8,000 to 15,000 square feet. The number of lots will be 349. Though there will be a total of 5 phases, construction phases on the property, and the total density is 3.17 homes per acre. In terms of the drainage, drainage generally flows east. There are 6 detention basins with additional drainage channels. All washers, basins, and drainage ways will be dedicated to the city. Any offsite drainage will meet development code requirements. The roadways are 34 feet in width as per the requirement in the development code and will all be public. There will be 3 access points to the subdivision. There are 2 proposed along Golden Acres, located right here, and a 3rd access will be connecting to Buffalo Soldier Trail to the north. The 2 access points here will be actually constructed during the first phase of the project, and then the 3rd access will be constructed after the 150th building permit is issued for the site. So let's take a look a little bit at the phasing plan here. As I said, the developer is proposing 5 separate phases to build out the site. The first phase will consist of 47 lots. The second phase, 86 lots. The third phase, 88 lots. The fourth phase, 64 lots. And the fifth phase, 64 lots. The build out for each phase is 2 years, the total ultimate build out of 5 years. And then to talk about the development agreement briefly, there are 3 conditions that will be amended or removed from the existing agreement. The existing condition number 3 will tie the completion of the landscaping on Canada Flores Drive to the acceptance of the public improvements in phase 1 of the final plat. The previous language indicated that the landscaping would be contingent upon the extension of Canada Flores Drive. As I stated at the work session in 2013, ADOT performed that extension as part of a safety project and is no longer applicable to the development agreement. So that in this particular instance, that condition has been revised. Condition number 4 has been removed altogether. That specifically stated that the developer be required to extend Canada Flores. Again, no longer applicable. Condition number 5 has also been removed. Development code, that deals with offsite drainage. Development code addresses offsite drainage, whereas it didn't previously. And security is also no longer needed as the plat meets drainage requirements today. So I'm going to go briefly go over the development agreement conditions. Looking at the first condition, number 1, has to do with these highlighted lots up here. The condition requires that the developer construct a 6-foot block wall on the rear lot lines of these properties. Also provide landscaping in the rear yards because they are adjacent to a light industrial property. And so this is a way to buffer and screen some of those homes from the light industrial use directly to the north. Developers also required to tell the proposed homeowner that they will be residing adjacent to a light industrial use. The second condition is that the developer is required to construct a 10-foot wide multi-use path along the drainage way here, which will be dedicated to the city and maintained by the city. The great thing about this pathway is that it'll connect to the pathway to the east, which was constructed in the Holiday Retreat subdivision area. So it'll be a nice connectivity trail between both subdivisions, as well as connect to the roadway, Splendor Drive in the subdivision. The third condition I've already discussed already, that the developer will be required to provide landscaping along Golden Acres Drive during acceptance of the final phase of the public improvements for phase 1. And then the fourth condition is that, as I stated already, that this third access be constructed when the 150th building permit is issued. And then the last condition would be that a 8-foot wide multi-use path be constructed along Splendor Drive here that'll connect to Buffalo Soldier Trail. So again, it provides that connectivity with the path and the drainage way and then the Holiday subdivision as well. The Development Review Committee did recommend approval for the final plat on November 3rd. In terms of the general plan consistency, it meets Goal 2-1, Strategy 2, encourage open space areas and recreational amenities for new developments, and also Goal 3-2, Strategy 3, ensure local roads allow pedestrian and bicycle connections to washes, parks, open space, and multi-use paths. So this does conclude staff's report, Mr. Mayor and Council. I do want to state that the developer, Mr. Robert Workman, is in the audience tonight. He'll be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding the project.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Mr. Workman? Oh, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a question. And it's been kind of sitting for 15 years, kind of waiting for things to happen, and it's happening now. So I was just wondering, once, if everything passes through tonight, if anything can be changed or anything can be adjusted going forward, like, because sometimes, if something's been sitting there, the analysis that maybe you did before, maybe things have changed. It's kind of like with the conditions, things had changed there. So I don't know if anything came up, what the process would be to make any amendments or changes.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Landry. The Development Code actually has an amendment process for subdivisions. And so if the developer wanted to make an amendment to the plat, he would file a plat amendment, and that would be handled, I believe, administratively. So yes, the plat can be amended, the development agreement conditions can be amended. Again, as conditions change, all of these documents can be amended as such.
Mr. Workman want to say something, sir?
No, sir.
Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate it. Any questions, comments on this? Are they ready for the question? All those in favor? Thank you. And now we go to item number 5. Mr. Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the resolution 2023-088, an amendment to the Buffalo Soldier Ranch preliminary plat and a phasing plan for the development and dedication of required public improvements be approved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Comments? Ready for the question? All those in favor? It's passed. And item number 6, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that resolution 2023-089 Buffalo Soldier Ranch final plat be approved.
Second.
Probably moved in second. Any comments? Ready for the question? All those in favor? And it is approved. Just want to give out a shout out to Mr. Workman. He built our home in 2002. It's still standing.
Yes.
Outstanding
so.
workmanship. Outstanding. All right. Item number 7, Councilwoman Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2023-090, renewal of an intergovernmental agreement between the Sierra Vista Police Department and Phoenix Police Department, Arizona Internet Crimes Against Children Lead Agency for future grant funding be approved.
Second.
Probably moved in second. Staff report, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. With this resolution, I'm requesting a renewal of an already existing agreement that the Sierra Vista Police Department has with the Phoenix Police Department to be members of the Arizona Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. And the Phoenix Police Department is the lead agency for that task force. Our involvement in that task force involves basically jointly investigating crimes against children. We do only receive cases within our jurisdiction. So being a member of this task force doesn't create extra work for us. What it does do is it gives us access to resources and support for some of these complicated investigations. In addition to being a member of this task force, it also allows us to be eligible for grant funding that will pay for training and equipment. And we do want to grow this program and expand it to Sierra Vista Police Department. So with passage of this resolution, it will allow us to also apply for the next grant cycle. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions, comments?
I just have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody who's working with this together. The more agencies that we have that are able to work together to do this and bring in more grants, the better. So I appreciate everybody who's working to make this go forward and do well.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Everybody ready for the question? All those in favor? Thank you. Moving to item number 8, Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2023-091, appointment of Ann Lund as hearing officer, be approved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Mayor, I move to amend Resolution 2023-091 to the following. Appointment of Ann Lund as a temporary, interim hearing officer until such time as a formal search for a hearing officer takes place, a person selected and subsequently approved by this council.
Staff report, Mr. Nathan.
Need a second?
A second. Second. Probably moved in second. Now staff report.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. As explained Tuesday, periodically under city code, personnel rules and regs, the city has issues that are required to be heard by a city hearing officer. We actually have one pending right now, which is why this item has come before you. The city's hearing officer had been John McKinnon. He was appointed by council in 2017. Unfortunately, he passed away within the last few weeks, and so we're in need of a new hearing officer. City staff reached out to a couple of different individuals who may have been interested in this item. One was a retired judge, and the other was Judge Ann Lund. And I'd like to give you a little bit of background into Judge Lund so you are familiar with her and where she's coming from. She is a proud graduate of the University of North Dakota School of Law in 1980. Those are her words. And so, so she from the time of graduation until about 2002, she served both as an Army JAG active duty and Army JAG Reserve officer. She served as the Justice of the Peace Pro Tem for JP5 from 1990 to 2002-ish. Served as an initial appearance master for the courts and has, for the last 14 or 15 years, off and on, served as the magistrate and assistant magistrate for Huachuca City. So she's not currently licensed in the state of Arizona to practice law. However, she has a somewhat extensive legal background and would be a fitting candidate for this appointment. And that's all I have, Your Honor. Or Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna make a point of order. We have a amendment on the table we have to work on first. Nate was on a roll and I didn't want to interrupt him. But we have an amendment we have a motion and a second we have to vote on first.
So we have a motion and a second for the amendment, so we vote on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? In the discussions from the council.
Discussions.
Go ahead, yes, sir.
No. I just have a question on that. My question is going to be, will Ms. Lund have a chance to apply and be vetted and go through a process?
Of course.
As the interim?
Absolutely.
Just want to
yes.
make sure. Okay, I'm ready, Mr. Mayor.
Any more discussions on that? So as amended, all those in favor of the amendment by Mr. Johnson? So we amended it. Now, everybody ready for the question for
The amendment.
the amendment?
Vote as amended.
Okay. He has to
that
remake
right,
the
Joe?
motion at this
You're
point.
voting on the motion as amended.
Yes.
Yeah.
As amended?
Yes.
Right. So we're
You
voting
said it
on
like
the,
that.
yes. All those in favor of the motion as amended? Got it. All right. So interim,
Let's do all that stuff 5 times.
excellent. And we have 2 calls to the public. I want to say that Clea McCaw messed up. I gave Mr. Lacy the wrong date. It was in the email. Sorry about that, sir. It's my fault. So Mr. Lacy is here, William Lacy. He owns Mary's Mission over in 345 Taylor. He's coming before the council to talk about the youth football camp he is going to host. Sir, you have 5 minutes. You'll see the green light here. Once it's red, your time has expired, and you will have your seat. Thank you, sir.
I don't see the green light, but thank you,
There you go.
Mayor, for the opportunity and City Council to present. Again, my name is William Lacy, owner of Mary's Mission. I just want to talk about that we're doing a football camp, which I've done several times in the city of Sierra Vista, and it's my network with the Cardinals, which I'm having active retired Cardinal players come. It's on the 18th. It's free to the community. We'll have all the provided food, safety requirements. It's a chance for just helping kids just have a good time during the holiday season. This is like my 5th or 6th camp. I have players like Michael Bankson, Sid, Daryl Clark, and also Jerome Davis that's coming, former Cardinal players. But my intent of why I do this is to get more exposure in Cochise County. I've networked with the Cardinals quite a bit, met the owners. Miss Bowman, she came out to my place up in Mesa. Actually, she does dog therapy. But my objective is for our kids in this community to get that exposure like the kids in Maricopa County. The problem that we have is that Maricopa County is more in tune with the Cardinals players. However, in Cochise County, which is a better, stronger following, is not represented. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I am planning on getting one of their marketing persons, his name is Steve, to come out here for our football camp if it's available, if he's available. But the bottom line is for exposure for our kids, because that's why a lot of the kids in Maricopa counties are going, get more exposure being seen by Cardinal players as well as their camps, to try to get our kids to get that same exposure up there. So that was it. Do you might have any questions at all? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, this is called the public can't ask questions.
Yes. Council Public can't ask questions. Yes. We can't ask questions to you.
Oh, that's.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And our next one is Miss from St. Vincent de Paul, Pauline?
Pauline Frederick.
Yes, you got it. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi,
You
how
have
are
5
you?
minutes. You'll see the green light. Once you're
Very much.
red, your time has expired.
My name is Pauline Fredericks. I'm the president of St. Vincent de Paul here in Sierra Vista. We're with the St. Andrew Conference. With me is Larry Powers. He is our food bank chair. And for the past 35 years, St. Vincent de Paul Society has been entrusted with the operation of the Sierra Vista Community Food Bank. It is on your behalf of your community food bank that I have asked for a few minutes of your agenda. We're very grateful for the generosity of our wonderful community and long collaboration of the city of Sierra Vista in providing this safety net for our city's most economically vulnerable citizens. Your community food bank is one of the largest non-metropolitan in Arizona and has been peer recognized for its effectiveness in meeting the needs of the disadvantaged. I'm going to let Larry speak.
So, you know, we've had a really sharp increase in demand for food assistance for a number of different reasons. Food prices have gone up significantly over the past 18 months. Rents are escalating at a pretty fierce rate in Sierra Vista. We're looking at a median range of people coming in between $850 and $1,800 per month. On top of that is late fees, which are non-negotiable, and we're dealing with agents that are outside the city. So the people that are actually on ground here have no ability to negotiate away those late fees or try doing something with it. In FY23, along with what we do with the food bank, we paid out over $60,000 towards utilities bills and over $96,000 in rental assistance. What's driving that for our friends that come in and see us is that the way the employment works here, there's jobs available, but they're frequently told they're working part-time and they're not getting fixed schedules. So they got a part-time schedule and they can't get a second part-time job because they don't know what their schedule is week to week.
Day to day.
So that causes all kinds of problems with childcare issues and the like. They're not getting full-time employment either because of some of the requirements for health insurance for full-time employees. So they basically got the vast majority of our friends coming in, and they're coming in younger and younger. We used to have a pretty good group of elderly poor that we're seeing. We're now seeing single men, for example, that we normally wouldn't see between the ages of mid-20s to early 50s. Realize there's quite a deal of a crisis going on our end. We're doing what we can to stay on top of it, but I just want council to be aware that we have a whole substrate of people here that's growing that can't buy enough food weekly if they have to do that and pay their rent.
So during the fiscal year of 22 to 23, your community food bank distributed 479,000 pounds of food in Sierra Vista. That's 40,000 pounds per month. With the help of our volunteers, we distributed 12,400 food boxes with an average of 1,000 a month. The food boxes fed over 42,000 people, and half of those being children. Again, we could not have done this without the support of so many people in our community, especially the churches. Our guidelines direct the food assistance to be given a monthly food box. However, the present conditions have forced people to, we've set aside that guideline, and we're not going to say, no, you can't have food. I mean, that's just what we do. One of the other things that Larry did not mention, and I don't even know how to address this or who to go to, so if you have any suggestions after this meeting, food stamps have been cut so drastically, it's a sin. It really is. I cannot believe what has been taken away from people, even people that have a job, so it's terrible. And as a result, the economically vulnerable are just having a difficult time feeding their families. And we're not asking for anything, and I'll still keep in mind, Mayor, you said whatever you need. I'm going to use that someday.
Dun, dun, dun.
But we really want to express our thanks to all those who partner with us at the Community Food Bank and to express our concern over the sharp escalation in the need of food assistance, especially those among the working people. And any of you are welcome at any time to get the nickel tour of our operations. As you know, we have the food bank, our main office, and of course the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store on Meyer. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so we'll close our call to the public. Thank you for those, Mr. Lacy and Mr. Pauline. And we'll go to comments by the council. Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Want to thank the ADOT crews who came out and cleaned up BST at 92. It's been an issue. Anywhere else where you have that county versus city meeting up, who's in charge of what, it can get sticky. So I'm glad they went out there because it's definitely something we got to keep looking at, keep an eye on, because that gravel keeps coming out onto the road, which is BST or is it the highway? Who owns it, right? As long as somebody's cleaning it up and we're aware that it's happening, trying to keep the people safe out there. Thank you for the people that did call the public, that actually talked about something relevant to our community. I really appreciate that. It's very good, so thank you. Appreciate those people that are out here talking to us from our community. Veterans Day coming this weekend, so I want to thank all the veterans out there, past and present. You know, there's a big difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Memorial Day is a little bit more somber. Veterans Day is more of a celebration, right? Thank your veterans out there that do a lot for the community. So I appreciate my thanks to all of you out there that are veterans and all of you that are still serving in our community in one way or another. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Looking forward to being at the parade. I'm sure somebody will talk about that. And all the businesses out there that offer things like discounts and appreciation, people getting their free meals on this weekend. I appreciate all those business owners that are out there supporting in that way. That's kind of cool. I appreciate that they do that. I'm also looking forward to everybody on social media changing their profile pictures. William Benning put a young picture of young William Benning in the Army, you know, on your Facebook or something like that. I'm looking forward to that happening.
Wait. Time out. I'm still young, brother. Don't get it twisted.
All right. And last, some birthdays. My twins are 16 years old today. So got to say happy birthday to my twins, Marcus and Marissa.
Nice.
Lord help me. Since we only have one meeting this month, my mom has a birthday on November 20th. My wife, Nancy, has a birthday November 29th. And then they have a Marine Corps birthday coming up, and I'm sure Greg will talk about that.
Yes, I will.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're broke.
I'm broke.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to thank all the people that came to speak tonight. It's really important to come out and share what needs to be shared. I appreciate the information for the football camp and stuff. I'll be sharing that out. I think that's really cool to do something to get the kids involved, to get them excited, bringing them down. So thank you for that. And then for St. Vincent de Paul, thank you so much for coming and bringing that to our attention. It's a real shame when people are not able to have their basic needs met, and food is a basic need that, I mean, it's like I've been hungry before, and it's a shame. So I hope that everybody out there that's listening will do something to help their neighbors, whether it's gathering food or getting people in with the right resources that they need that can help them out. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help for a little bit to get you going. So appreciate you coming out and sharing that as well. This past weekend, the Rotary did their sun run, which they do every year about the beginning of November. The beginning of October, the first Saturday in October, the NAMI, they do their bike ride, and I think it's always the first Saturday in November that the Rotary does their fun run, and that was a really great event. I've done it before, and this past weekend was really good. I appreciate all the people that are going out there setting that up. Getting the it's huge year-long planning that they do, getting the registration going, getting everything organized, setting everything up, gathering the packets for people to pick up, getting out there, putting the signs out there, the volunteers out there that are watching traffic for the people. People that are at the various rest areas, getting people water and making sure that they're okay. And at the very end, the celebration. That's such a great time. So I appreciate everybody who participated and who made that happen. Looking forward to next year as well. And then since we don't have a meeting later on this month, I want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving holiday, however you celebrate. I hope that you're able to spend time with friends and family and be thankful. And then also reach out to any of your neighbors or friends or people in the community that maybe they don't have family with them, and maybe they're here in the military or whatever, and they don't have family with them. Reach out to them. Maybe there's a neighbor that somebody maybe passed recently or something. Just reach out and make sure everybody's okay. Invite them in, welcome them into your home, if you're able to. Let's just make this a really good holiday this year. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to wish all my Marine brothers and sisters a happy 248th birthday. It's the only branch that was actually formed in a tavern in Philadelphia back November 10th, 1775. So I want to wish everybody, don't drink too much, friends. Anyway, we have a Veterans Day Parade coming this Saturday at 9 a.m. coming down Fry from 7th to Veterans Park. And approximately 10 o'clock, we'll have a brief ceremony there at Veterans Park. So make sure you avail yourself of that. It's always a nice thing to see, and congratulate all the vets out there. And thanks all these guys for your service. And your Marine Corps daughter in Hawaii, basking in the sun.
My proud Marine dad.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Brooke, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Councilwoman Messmer.
Thank you, Mayor. I also would like to wish everybody a great Thanksgiving. I'd also like to wish my husband a 42 years marriage on the 28th. And I'd also would like to remind everyone to, after Thanksgiving, since we won't meet, to remember to shop local because it helps our community and it helps everyone out. So, and that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Benny.
Man, after everybody going, I don't got much to say. Thank you, Ms. Lund, for stepping up and filling in, even if it's interim, and I hope you apply and we go through the process. I want to congratulate Angelica. She actually ran the half marathon. We have a great selfie. One of us ran, and one of us was out there volunteering and telling them where to run. Y'all can figure out who did what.
Very easy.
It wasn't me. And I do have to do a funny. Mr. Lacey, thanks for coming out tonight. We were expecting you on Tuesday. I'll get on afterwards. But the funny is, they announced that you weren't going to be here to talk about the football camp. All I heard was they were going to talk about the football camp. At the same time, our attorney, Nate, stood up. And I was taken aback. I'm like, wait, Nate's going to talk about football. And now you come up and take the whole podium when you're standing up there. So that eased my mind of who was going to talk about a football camp. But it's always great seeing you again, sir. And St. Vincent de Paul, thank y'all for coming out. Y'all do so much. And any way us on council can help over the Thanksgiving holiday, let us know. And I'm going to switch because everyone talked about fun stuff. First, I want to say to all my brothers and sisters in arms, past, present, and future, just a happy Veterans Day. Thank you for serving. For the young ones and the ones serving now, thank you, because without you, the people on this dais that are retired couldn't have retired. Then I'm going to move forward, because like everyone else said, we don't have another meeting until December. And I'm going to say, go Army, beat Navy.
Good.
December 9th, root for the green. It's the only way to go. We have our Veterans Day Parade. Make sure you know your song when you get out there, and don't not sing it, Army. And then happy birthday to the young Marine Corps. We're glad to have younger brothers and sisters. So
he
happy
celebrated
birthday.
about half of them. Celebrated about half those years.
Exactly. And they were formed in a tavern.
Ton tavern.
And that's where you can still find them. And that's, and then for the tens, hundreds people in the audience, thanks for coming out. And for the thousands watching on YouTube, happy Thanksgiving. That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. So first, let's thank you, Chief Heiser, for the First Amendment training. That was very informative. And thanks to all the officers. Thank you for what you do. No Shave November, y'all are looking good. And I'm doing mine, but mine's only the pork chops. So
I don't think that's just in the start of November. That's almost a full beer. Like that's a Montana or a North Dakota. That's a North Dakota beer.
Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, that ain't one November. Come on, cheating.
Daniels, he grows it fast. And he don't have no gray in it like you. But thank you, Mr. William Lacey, football camp. And tonight is the night where Buena Fighting Colts is playing the Desert Edge Scorpions in their first round of the playoffs up in Goodyear, and we're rooting for them. Also, Marine Academy is playing Ajo High at Sierra Vista Field. Beautiful Sierra Vista Field, and they should go 9-0 tonight. Ma'am, Ms. Pauline, thank you so much. And yes, I stand by my words. We support you. Anything that you need, Cleo McCaw's here. So anything that you need, we got your back. And Buena's basketball season starts this month with the tournament. And they're smaller, but they're faster. Mm-hmm. They got some good boys on there. So go out and see them. They're going to be amazing. Coach Dennis Baker is at the helm. Also, happy Veterans Day to all of the vets. And tonight, I want to congrats our First Lady Ramona McCobb, my beautiful wife, for being inducted into the Veterans Hall of Fame at the hospital. So she is, yeah. So we have to take her out to dinner tonight at Circle K. 2 hot dogs. No, don't say that.
Yeah, 25 cents. He gets a larger Coke. Somebody's in the doghouse.
Oh yeah, man, I'm in trouble now. With that, we are adjourned.